welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad that you're here today. We are talking about an amazing topic. Should I join a networking group as a travel agent? We get this question sometimes, and people are kind of on both ends of the spectrum. So I really wanted to dive into, are they worth your time? So if you want to find out if networking groups really work, do they bring you good quality leads, how to vet them for free, how to figure out if they're going to work without spending any money, and also my personal assessment and my personal experience on and what I think on if you should join a networking group or not. So if that sounds of interest, then keep on watching.
This could be magical. Whoa. This could be magical.
All right, guys, before we get started, if you haven't already, please go over to us on YouTube and subscribe, ring that notification bell. We have some secret content that comes out on there every single week, tips and advice on how to continue to grow your travel business. So make sure you do that. And if you're new, put a little comment below that says you're new. I would love to meet you and just say hi. And if you're new, you probably don't know me. I'm Cyndi Williams. I started in the travel industry over 25 years ago. I own and operate my own award-winning, nationally recognized travel agency, and I'm also the CEO of Careers on Vacation that specializes in helping people just like you launch, grow, and supersize their travel businesses. So welcome. It's so great to meet you. Today we are discussing, should you join a networking group as a travel agent? Some people swear by networking groups. Other people hate them. I'm going to talk about today the pros and cons, and we're really going to discuss, is it right for you personally? Because the answer for one might be yes, and for another might be no. Quick question. Have you guys ever tried a networking group? If you have, or you have one that you love, feel free to share it and put it down in comments. I'm open to suggestions. This whole video is based on my experience. I am a master at marketing and getting leads to travel agencies. And so this is just kind of one little segment that we're going to look at. But my experience might be different than yours. So if you've tried one, I'd love to hear what you've tried in comments and if it was successful for you. By the way, if you are brand new to the industry and you're thinking about getting into the travel industry, I want to remind you this is just one of many marketing techniques you can use for your travel business. So if you're still in that thinking about it phase, I want to encourage you to go over and get my free masterclass, the 5 shifts to a 6-figure travel business and beyond. You can go to careersonvacation.com/masterclass. I'll drop that link below. But if you're starting out, that will help you decide if even getting in the industry is for you. We get that question hundreds of times a week on our different platforms. And so I created that class to kind of help you. So, but let's dive into networking groups. When considering a networking group, the first thing that I really suggest you ask yourself is, what kind of person am I, right? What kind of person are you? Are you a social person or not so much? Was the quarantine torture for you, or was it I get to work from home, right? So ask yourself, am I social? Do I like to get out there, right? Because networking is going to require you get into a space with other people, you're meeting, you're greeting, that whole thing. The other thing you should ask yourself is, are you okay with rules and guidelines? A lot of these networking groups that are out there, you have to meet on a certain day and you have to attend so many times a month. And if you don't, then you get kicked out of the group. Some of them have really crazy rules, right? So are you okay with rules and guidelines in terms of participating with some of these? Not all, but some. And also, are you willing to do the follow-up work that will be required to really leverage a networking group successfully? What I mean by that is, when you're kind of hitting the street for leads and you're meeting people, and then there's a lot of follow-up and encouraging, it's almost one of those situations where sometimes the sales come easy, but a lot of times you're going to get the wins in the follow-up process. So are you willing to do the extra work that will take to really leverage the benefits out of a networking group? The next thing I really want you to ask yourself is, do you have the time? This was always a big challenge for me. I am totally a social person. I love to get out there. I'd love to have coffee with people, talk to people. I talk about travel all day. As you know, we have hundreds of videos talking to you about travel, right? But do you have the time with balancing your personal life? When we first started our business years and years ago, we had young kids, and that was always a really big challenge. So in order to be successful, again, you're going to have to show up and follow up to these things. So do you really have the time to do that? And also, getting there live and engaging is how you're going to get the most out of these types of groups. Some of them also require additional work. Like they'll say you have to bring so many leads, you have to bring leads for other people, or sometimes they'll say you have to invite other people into the group once a month, or they'll have like different guidelines for that. So it can require some additional work on top of what you already have to do as a business owner. So ask yourself, do I have the time to really do this the right way before I get in? Now, let's talk about the different ways you can vet some groups for free. Like some of these you don't even have to pay to get into. They have a lot of invitations where you can try a meeting out one time. And so you can go along, see if it's a fit, see if, I always say like, is a personality fit? What are their rules? What are their guidelines? Some examples of networking groups would be like BNI or SCORE. There's even some networking groups on Meetup, but a lot of times you can do like a try before you buy situation if they're one of those that requires annual fees or quarterly fees or something like that. So if you know someone in a group, or if you just reach out to them directly, a lot of times they'll have a website where they can put you in touch with their local chapter, then you can get an invitation to try it out for free. Another thing worth mentioning is some of them require they only have one or two types of the same business in the same meeting. So that's something to consider, although I've never actually gone to one where there was another travel agency, but I've heard in other markets that travel agencies are very active, so that could be possible too. Another great one I'm going to pass on that I really love and I like better than the rules and have to do the lunch thing and all those things. I like the Chamber of Commerce will do, a lot of times they will, even if you're not a member of the Chamber of Commerce, which that can be expensive on an annual fee basis, a lot of times they will still let you pay like a non-member price, and it's usually not a lot, like $25 or $35 to either go to a breakfast or a dinner or something like that, where they bring a group of other business owners together. So you can kind of try it out to see if it's for you. And a lot of times they'll let you do 2 of those a year without even being a member. So check that out too. Check your local Chamber of Commerce. I actually am a really big fan of that kind versus I have to go every week type of networking group. So those are some different types of networking groups for you guys to consider. If you guys have more, definitely tell me in comments. I'm going to talk about my experience here in a second, but sometimes you can find a local one that is not national, that it's your people, right? It's like the guys or the girls or the whoever, you have a common interest around whatever, and it's just fun to attend. So I had one that I did years ago that was a women's group, and it just worked really well for me because it was like afternoons. And let's get into my experience because that's what we're going to talk about next. So before I give you my experience, I want to talk about the different types of networking and different types of marketing and where I consider networking groups to be. So there are 2 types of marketing in my book. There's what you would call guerrilla marketing, which is kind of that hit the street. It's high energy. It requires a lot of effort, but it doesn't cost as much. So that's where I put networking groups. The other type on the flip side is marketing that is paid marketing. So it does cost you money, but it's really less effort. Like leads can just come to you. So that's when the big time question comes in. That's why I asked you guys to think about it. So networking definitely falls under what I would call is guerrilla marketing, where it's high energy, high effort. It's not going to cost you a ton to participate in a networking group. And so that's why it's kind of in that bucket, but it is going to cost you time and energy. So knowing that and knowing who I am, this was my personal experience. So I met some amazing people in networking groups, and I did business with several of them. Sometimes I was an insurance person, because a lot of times in networking groups, obviously people have different businesses. There were people who painted houses, people that did plumbing, and I met some great female friends that came out of those groups too, which was pretty fun. But above and beyond those, I needed a higher volume of leads for my business in terms of our growth rate. And networking groups was one of those things where I'm just never going to get the volume. Like I might have gotten a sale or 2 a month maybe out of a networking group, versus if I did paid marketing, I could just rev it up or rev it down and it didn't require any of my time, no rules. So I needed a higher volume of leads, and I didn't love the rules. Like For me, there were a couple big networking groups. The afternoon ones worked better for me at the time because I had young children, and like, give me a break. Trying to get kids off to school and have a 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock a.m. meeting. Like, no, that's not going to happen. That was like extra pressure on my husband. And as a mom, I always felt guilty. Like, I just hate not seeing my kids in the morning. So those ones didn't work for me, where they're like, you have to come every week or find a replacement. If you don't come 2 times in 3 months, you're kicked out of the group. I was like, okay, this is not for me. So I didn't love that part of it. And it was just like kind of exhausting. So ran out of time, ran out of energy. And that was kind of where my personal experience was. I do think networking groups can work for some people. If you're starting out more hobby level and you're not like trying to push for your business to be full time, and you're a social animal, you're willing to do the work, and you're okay with just getting a couple leads, like you don't have ambitious expectations of getting hundreds of leads from a networking group. Could it potentially work for you? Yes. And you guys know we work with hundreds of travel advisors and travel agency owners every year. So I know several that are part of networking groups and they love them. So, but that's not the only thing they do. They put it in the mix of their other marketing they have going on, but they genuinely love connecting with people. The meeting time works for them. They don't mind doing the follow-up. And some of them have gotten great group business out of those networking groups. So I do think that it can be part of your marketing mix if you're social, if you don't mind the follow-up and you have the time to do it. So if that's the case, absolutely. For me personally, I prefer automated marketing so I can control my volume and just turn things on and off. I would rather pay the extra money and kind of have leads. But and then keep my girlfriend and my girlfriends together on social events and things like that, and keep that separate. So guys, there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to networking groups. It does depend on who you are, how much time you have. And again, I want to remind you, if you are growing, whether it be hobby or full size, that you want to go after multifaceted. Make this, if you do decide to do a networking group, make this one of many things that you're doing in your multifaceted marketing plan. And by the way, guys, if the world of reaching leads on social media or the word multifaceted marketing freaks you out, like, I get it. It took me 26, 27 years to figure out all the things that work really well with our proven systems, or automation, or those things are overwhelming to you and you need support getting to the next phase. And the things that I'm talking about are resonating in my videos. If you want to get your marketing machine revved up and you really want to grow substantially, I invite you to apply for our Careers on Vacation program. This is the one that you've heard about. You can go to careersonvacation.com/ready now. This is the program where you get our entire beautiful online membership site where all of your training modules are, and these are updated from year to year, meaning if I update something in 3 years and you are in this mastermind, you're going to get the updated. And you're also going to get to work with my amazing team who helped me take my business from multiple 6 figures a year to over 6 figures every single month. And so guys, it's been an amazing journey. And of course, you know, we're ASTA affiliated and we have the most reviews of any travel program out there. You can go to YouTube and see 100+ case studies, many of which have been over this past year during COVID and the pandemic. So if that resonates with you, I definitely invite you to apply. In the meantime, don't forget to come have some fun with me over on TikTok. We're having too much fun on TikTok. I need to slow down on that. But Instagram, I love sharing my sunsets with you from my backyard every night and all the things happening behind the scenes. And of course, over on Facebook, we have an amazing group called Careers on Vacation that you can join for free that will help you if you are in your journey of learning about how to grow your business. That's a safe, free place where you can kind of engage and communicate with all of us. But guys, I hope this was helpful if you're deciding on if a networking group is right for you or not. As always, I wish you so much love, so much abundance. I wish you the world, and I will see you next week. If you like that last video, make sure you check out my other content to help you grow and scale your very own travel business. And also, I invite you to travel around the world with me and find out what I'm doing in my portable, profitable, award-winning travel business. Check out the videos.